Jack or Union flag is to be flown on all UK government buildings every day in a bid to unite the nation.
Yeah, new guidance from the Department of Digital, Culture, Media and Sport suggests that instead of flying only on special days, the Union flag should be flown at all times. But is it a sign of unity and patriotism, or does it divide us even more? Joining us to discuss this is political commentator Dominique Samuels and Guardian columnist Owen Jones.
Very good morning to both of you.
Morning.
Morning. Dominique, let's come to you first. You have no issue with the government buildings all displaying the flag? You think this is a good thing, a long time coming?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not here to defend the ins and outs of the Conservative government, but I do think that it's about time. So many other countries do this, and I believe that the flag is a symbol of national identity. It's a social glue that brings people together, and it's only right that we identify it. And I think that you can't completely separate this from some of the sneering that we see, for particularly those on the left. And they sneer at patriotism, they make fun of it, and I think it's only right that it's normalised. And personally, for me, as someone who comes from a black and mixed race background, I see the flag and I believe it's a representation of who I am, of where I'm from, and it's only right that we seek to normalise it. Let's make patriotism popular again.
Owen Jones, why would you have an issue with that?
Well, I don't really. I don't give a flying insert word, which I can't say on national television, about. I mean, they can double the flags, they can triple the flags. I just don't think it means anything for the actual conditions of the people of this country. You see, what they want, the people running this country, is they want these arguments about flags on national television. Do you know why they want these arguments about flags? Because they know that instead we're not arguing about the things that really show how much you care about your country, which isn't how many flags you fly in your government buildings, but how you actually care about the people of your country. Now, what's a fairer description of patriotism? Is it flying flags on government buildings, or is it protecting your own people and their lives and their security? You see, by that measurement, the government's been a disaster.
Okay, but Owen Jones, I mean, you could argue, you can have both those arguments at the same time. For instance, on this programme, where we talk about, COVID and the vaccination programme and the mistakes that were made over the course of the pandemic, and also issues with free school meals and people being pushed into poverty, and also talk about why we shouldn't fly the flag in order to, feel a little bit more patriotic.
But the point I'm making is what should really make us feel patriotic is to think that we have a government that actually looks after and cares about the people of the country. And what I suppose winds me up a little bit is you get a government that presides over one of the biggest death tolls on earth, drives hundreds of thousands into poverty as they cut universal credit, deprives millions of people of the right to live in affordable, decent housing, then wraps themselves in the flags and go, but we really care about our country. That's what's frustrating. And what they want, the reason they're doing this, isn't because they think to themselves, well, actually, we feel really proud about the flag. What they've done is they've got some focus groups together and they've decided, how can we start arguments like this on national television to make our opponents look like they're unpatriotic and they don't really care about their country?
Dominique, it's all a distraction from the government's performance, and we've fallen for it.
Well, yeah, you clearly have, because the fact that you have people like Owen Jones on television trying to make this about Tory policy, trying to make this about specific political beliefs, just demonstrates why this is needed. The flag in itself should surpass all of those, petty political leanings. And that's why I said at the start, I'm not going to make this about defending the ins and outs of Conservative policy, because the flag is greater than that. It's greater than political affiliation, and it's something that we should use to see past all of those differences. And the fact that we're having this conversation right now with Owen Jones trying to make it about Tory policy just demonstrates why it's needed. So he himself has fallen into the trap effectively.
But when we talk about division, though, Dominic, I don't think division is about whether we love Britain anymore. The division is that people care about issues. They care about race. They care about sexism in this country. They care about poverty. They care about those issues. And if you care about things going on in your country, it's because you love your country. So it's probably far more patriotic than just waving a flag. Me waving a flag tomorrow, putting a flag outside my house, doesn't make any difference at all to life, but me campaigning about poverty, about race issues, about sexism, does make a difference. And I think that is what we're divided on, isn't it?
No, I think that's the issue, because you're kind of trying to trivialise what the flag actually means to people. And I mean, you personally may not feel that flying the flag outside your house or showing the Union Jack makes any difference to your life. But for a lot of people in this country, they do indeed feel proud of the flag and they feel as though it should be flown. Of course, you know, there are other effective ways to demonstrate that you love your country, but those symbols are way more important to people than I think a lot of people in the media, particularly the BBC, realise. And that's why this conversation is so important.
Do you fly a flag outside of your house?
Yeah, I mean, I have a flag in my home room because I'm at university. I have a flag in there. My flag in the garden. It's not supposed to be some performative act to get that for. It's just a way to demonstrate that you are proud of your country and that you love the country that you're in. And that's my opinion, personally. Yeah.
But you can be proud of your country without flying the flag. Do you accept that?
I mean, of course, I think, you know, being British anyway, we're a tad more quiet in terms of our patriotism. I mean, that's not the problem. But the issue is people sneering and, you know, making fun of the fact that people do feel as though it's important to, you know, show the flag, fly the flag. That's the issue. And I think that's probably part of why the government does it at the same time, because it's got all of the usual suspects annoyed about it, and it's kind of bizarre.
Owen Jones, do you stand accused of sneering at the flag, and how do you respond?
No, I think about the flag's history. Look, I think about my granddad, who was amongst those who helped save this country from Nazi invasion and helped save Europe from the Nazis. And he was at sea. He was bombed twice with that flag flying above him, and he was on an open boat, and people like that fought for our rights and freedoms. And I know how much the flag means to people. I'm not here to sneer at the flag. What I'm here to say is that we have a government that cannot protect its own people, that, you know, I walk past that street, I'm sure many of you do. I walk down our high streets and see homeless person after homeless person, including in bitter, bitter winter. And there might be a flag flying somewhere in the distance. But that is a country in which you have a government which says we care about the country, we care about the people of this country because we fly a flag in our government buildings, without being able to look after the most basic needs of its own people. When you have children with empty bellies whose parents have to skip hot meals in order to feed them, the idea that the government cares about its own country and is patriotic, and I have to say the people who go on most about the flag and talk about most about the flag are the people who speak least about what it needs for a country to actually share the wealth properly that millions of people create, so we actually build the homes people need. Well, so we actually have a national health service that's properly funded. Instead, here's an example, just quickly. We have our ministers, they clap. We've seen them clapping, the key workers, the flag flying above them, but they then impose a real terms pay cut on those nurses. That is not patriotic. Okay. That's not caring about your country. No flag will change that.
Dominic, I just wonder who was calling for this, because the flag was already being flown on significant days. I just wonder how big the clamour was to, you know, we need to fly it every day.
I mean, maybe this was a strategic decision from my personal reading. It's because of some of the conflict that we're having with Scotland at the moment. It's supposed to generate more support for the union, whatever. But I just feel like Owen is completely missing the point. He's making it about a particular government policy rather than what the flag means in itself. So many other countries, irrespective of government, irrespective of what party you support, I'm guessing if it was the Labour Party, flying the flag would be okay, despite the fact that a lot of people on the left seem to have a problem with anything to do with Britain in the first place. But so many countries, irrespective of policy or whatever, show the flag, fly the flag every day on government buildings. I don't see why Britain has to be any different.
Owen Jones, just very quickly though, there is something feel-good though, isn't there? And if you know, flying this flag, when we come to football matches, we sometimes do it. We will wear the tops, and you know, I was at Harry and Meghan's wedding. I mean, I went out going out for lunch, and we had bunting around the table. I mean, I quite enjoyed it. I loved it. I mean, there is something about that. There's something about coming together on this sort of symbol of the national flag.
Adil's going to go home and redecorate after this.
I think I might get some tattoos, and I'm on it in a couple of weeks. Watch this space. But I mean, come on, surely that's not a bad thing, is it? Just a bit of that feel-good factor.
Yeah, I was actually going to turn up dressed. Do you remember Jerry Halliwell in the Spice Girls when she dressed up in the Union Jack dress? I was thinking of turning up myself. I didn't get the invite to Harry and Meghan's wedding, so I missed out on that. Yeah, I mean, I suppose the thing about the flag, and it's actually what Dominique just said, is it isn't actually very British, if you like, to just fly the flag all the time outside of very special occasions. They do in France and the United States, but that's because they're revolutionary societies. They had revolutions in the 18th century, which are very central to their identity. So in France and America, the flag is seen as a kind of stick it to the authorities, stick up for the citizens of your own country. And I suppose in this country, we do fly the flag on special occasions, but normally speaking, it's just not seen as a very British thing to do.
Okay.
If people want to fly the flag, treat themselves. All I'm saying is, I think there are other things we can do to look after the people of this country that shows you care about the people of this country, like feed them, house them, and make sure they've got good public
Thank you very much. We'll
I
have to leave it there.
Yeah, I think we can all agree those are very important things to do.